everyone, this is Lau. Welcome back to a new video. This time again a new cosplay showcase video. And yes, I thought I'm doing not enough Ahsoka content lately. That's why I decided for one of my Ahsoka cosplays. It's the season 7 jumpsuit. So basically the costume that she wears in the arc before the Siege of Mandalore. So it's a jumpsuit. That's what I always just calling it, Ahsoka jumpsuit, Ahsoka jumpsuit. Some people are also calling this arc the Ahsoka walkabout arc. And yeah, I started this costume before all the episodes were released. So what I had to base it on was basically the clip that we had back last year, 2019 celebration. There was a clip and some, not really concept art, it was more like these really where you could see it from all sides, these pictures. And I decided to do that definitely before the Siege of Mandalore costume because I thought it looked so cool. It's like most unique outfit of Ahsoka because all the others are around the same, like, you know, leggings, kind of whatever, something around her arms, something with plates here, or, you know, they are kind of similar. And this one is the most unique of all of Ahsoka's costumes. That's why I was so like, oh, I want to do that, although I didn't know what the arc is really about because they changed it from what we before had as a concept, which is a costume I also already did, like the outfit which is on the book cover, or also like what this arc or what these episodes would have been before we knew that we really get the season 7. I will link that video also down below so you see that costume. And now it's the the jumpsuit. Okay, then let's just start with the main piece of this cosplay, which is in fact the jumpsuit. Actually, underneath, which I didn't put on the mannequin right now because it's nothing that I could show you, is she's also wearing a t-shirt or a top, something underneath, which just shows like here. So I am always wearing like a black, dark, grayish t-shirt or top underneath, but I'm not that proud of those because I didn't do them. I just always take one, like a black one that is a little bit sun-faded already, something like that. But I should make one in dark gray because the one that I was using was either like too low cut or it was too high cut, so I should definitely like just sew a dark gray t-shirt or top for underneath. Can't show you that, I don't have that because I always just put on store-bought t-shirt underneath. Yeah, the jumpsuit. What about the color? This is like the first thing that I'm kind of doing different or did different with my costume than what all the others, the other cosplayers that already have done this costume were doing. I never thought of this as being blue. All the others that I saw doing this costume have based their color theme around blue, light blue, darker blue, of course a grayish blue, but I just picked gray. When I saw this, maybe my eyesight is also a little bit different that I don't see it as blue, but for me this is a gray jumpsuit. It has like two different shades of gray or blue. If you think when you look at the pictures, when you now look at the episodes, if it is blue, then indeed you can do it in blue. Like I don't see it. Also, of course, I've watched the arc now, and for me it's still gray. Yeah, so a lighter gray and the darker, which is like the side parts. I will definitely show everything in detail. The side parts. Yeah, basically it's the side parts from the top to down to the trousers. Yeah, well, let's start here at the top. The whole thing is kind of detailed. There are a lot of details in this jumpsuit. That's what makes this costume really interesting for me, because it's a lot of sewing, which is my thing. Here at the top you can see it looks like a stand collar, and if you put it like this, then it also just looks like you could close it up until here. But the way she wears it, it's a little bit to the sides, like this. It's actually always like kind of covered with her leku. But what I decided then, well, if it really like opens up a little bit like this, it also looks like a lapel. That's why I designed it as more as a really like a blazer would have like this. When you turn it around, it's really a lapel, not a big one, but just one which when you close it, it comes up to the middle. And that's why I also have like, it's like inside, it's clean, not clean, you will see why it's so dirty afterwards. Yeah, and the back, you could put it down, but I always just leave it upwards. To me, this is what it looks like when she wears it, so yeah. Then, very noticeable at the top part of the jumpsuit are these big pockets, these patch pockets, two of the same nature, right in the front, with a flap overlay, or not overlay, but on top, which I'm closing with snap buttons. And I also went even further and not just do it as patch pockets, but really did it, sorry I have to look up the word, as bellow pockets, because they really seem to be very noticeable here at the front, and I wanted to have them like even more depth. That's why I made them bellow pockets, which means they are like a box. It's like, I would also say box pockets, because I think that's what we normally would call them in German. But anyways, they have more space in them and in this fold here. So when you put something in, there's more room than the normal patch pocket would have. Yeah, that was something that I really was looking forward, because it's something I haven't sewed in ages and I wanted to do that, and that's why I really like how it turned out. The edges here are also stitched down, so to make a more clear like shape of the box or the bellow pocket. Here at the edge of the flap, you can see I used a piping band. If you really look at the reference of Ahsoka in this costume, it really looks yellow. Well, I wasn't that into that yellow look, and I always then think when yellow and I turn it into something real as of gold. That's why I chose a gold fabric. I also did not just buy those pipings here. I made them. I have a golden kind of fabric that I put a thick cord in it and made this piping. Unfortunately, it's not that vibrant as I would like it to be, so maybe I should paint it over with a textile, gold textile color. Maybe you could also just make it straight up yellow. It also looks good. Now I've seen it in other costumes. That's just what I decided to go for, more of a gold at the edge here. Yeah, then the front has a, in my case, a zipper. One that's barely noticeable in the seam. If you want to go more maybe authentic Star Warsy, because apparently zippers aren't a thing in space, then you maybe should cover it up with a flap or something. I didn't do that because I was I think it looks good for me. And yeah, maybe if I would now have the real in-depth reference pictures, then maybe I would make it different, but that's what I based it on when I had just these few seconds and these still images. Yeah, it opens all the way here until so you can until the bottom, and that's how you get into the costume, just by this zipper. Then it has short sleeves, but they are not that short, like not really like just cup sleeves. They are well, they are a little bit longer until the middle of your upper arm, and they have these pulled up flaps. And yeah, underneath the pockets you can already see that the darker part starts, and I think for this now I take you closer to the costume. Also the back you can see those parts here, because I think that shows up better when I have the camera in my hands. So just up close again, here's the collar, lapel, the pocket. You can see that I stitched it down here, so it's like has more of a sharper edge here. The box, this button, the sleeve with the cuff turned up, with the seam at the bottom here at the edge. Yeah, and this is what I wanted to show you. Here, this seam, like it gives the shape, of course, it's a normal seam that you would have on a top or something, because the material that I have is not stretchy. This one is not stretchy, this one is. I just took materials again, as I'm nowadays often doing, because I have a really, like my basement there, I have a lot of leftovers from other costumes, and that's why sometimes I pick and choose what I already have, and I already had these lying around. This one was way lighter, and I dyed it with a mix of like black and blue. That's how I got a little bit of blue tint in this like material here, and for me absolutely enough. And this is a darker one, that's actually a jersey fabric, but yeah, it's just the seam to give your to give the upper body the shape, and it continues down here. So basically the legs are like divided into these two parts, here and here, and now you can see that that's better from that you often can't see from afar. That's why I took you closer here. These darker parts have all these horizontal seams in it. How can I show it to you the best? The inside of this darker fabric is padded. I padded it with like not too thick of a padding, because I mean you don't want to look like a marshmallow or something, but it helps to give these seams, these horizontal seams, some more depth, especially when you move and when you sit down or something, your leg from the side, it really shows then. And the padding is also underneath here, but it's not that noticeable. And this is something that I noticed fairly kind of late from my reference pictures, but I'm happy that I noticed it before I like went on. Stitch, stitch, stitch. Really looks good in my opinion. Really gives a lot of detail to the costume. Also the back here. Now, as I said, I didn't buy a new material for this costume. That's why I also like made some like things which I wouldn't normally do if it's like should be a brand new, super polished looking costume. But like this pattern piece here didn't have enough like left here, so I also made some like patches to go over it, because this costume like is supposed to be something like rough and dirty and used, because Ahsoka probably, I don't know where she got it from, but she probably didn't get it brand new in the store. Like going up to a space H&M and buying this, probably not. It's probably something that she got used, and then she is also living like in the lower levels of Coruscant at that time, and that's why it really looks rough, and I really made it dirty. I will get to this later, but that's why I also was absolutely okay with dyeing the fabric, because like as you can see, this part got a little bit like different, like darker tone, because I dyed it later on because I forgot that I needed more as than this, for example, as these things. It's same as with my Dr. Aphra, that I'm okay with this costume looking rough and used and like all that good stuff, which I'm normally not that about, because I like to have like really clean and polished and nice sewn things, and yeah, but here I decided for that. Now, another thing that I will now definitely have to explain a little bit more is this kind of pocket situation here. Like, what is this? I didn't know. I just knew that there is another like straight line in the middle of the like thigh part, which has the same piping. So I again took my self-made gold piping here, and it has this like shape here. Also has like a seam or some noticeable like thing going on here, and then it stops at where the darker gray part starts. And then I was like, what is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be something just decorative, or has it to be a pocket? So I decided to go with the pocket way, and I wanted to have one that you can really use like a normal trouser pocket, where you can put your hand in here and then it goes until here, whereas here you could put something in until the lower part, so it stops here. But this is normally like normal trouser pocket here. And this line here then of course is not in her costume, so but I decided I want to have like a pocket that I can use, which is more like a normal usable pocket. That's why I went with this, although it's not in the reference picture, but then I like decided to do it like here, and that it really matches, and from far away you can't really see that there is a pocket in there, because the line here continues, but it's in there like this, and this is what you can see like from the reference picture. That's how I decided to do it, and I'm really happy with it. I like this kind of like, this is really sewing, constructing, thinking of how you can like develop a pocket in it. Like that was really fun part, making the pattern construction and then finally sewing it and figuring out how to do it. Yeah, I'm really proud of this, and also of these pockets. Like I really like this costume overall. Yes, at the back there are no pockets, just straight line here. Then the shape gets even weirder, because it has like a round shape of this darker part, then continuing like completely at the leg, at this bottom part. Let me tell you, the legs are also a little bit flared. I mean, they're not really like bell bottoms or something, but they are not straight, although it looks like this, but they are a little bit flared, which I think is what her jumpsuit is. So that was also something really interesting to figure out, this round shape. Then it needs to obviously match here, needs to like continue here the line, and then at the very bottom the leg part comes again, same gray as this. And what I think she again, like they're same as at the sleeves. Here these cuffs, also cuffs at the bottoms, which kind of makes sense to me. I'm not 100% happy with the length of the trousers. I wish they would be a little bit longer because they look like, when I'm wearing my boots, they look a little bit kind of cropped. Not really, but they should be a little bit longer. Anyways, yeah. Now let me talk to you about the all these dirty parts here. There's weathering. I'm not a fan of weathering in general. I know tons of people are really liking this, like destroying and putting paint on it to really look like you've been like rolling on the ground with this costume. I'm not a big fan because for me it always feels like destroying my work. But here it was really necessary. And I really like how it turned out. So at first I just had these parts that I just explained to you where the like the dye of the fabric didn't turn out like super equal like at every piece, or these back parts where I put a patch over it because I didn't have enough fabric. Then there was another thing like here right in the front, I can show it to you up close afterwards, where I like took my iron at a like too high level, like it was too hot, so it melted the fabric a little bit. Yes, something like this happens to me, although I learned everything like I'm seamstress, and still something like this happens because this is a really polyester fabric. How did I dye it? Well, there are polyester dyes, but actually I didn't use a polyester dye. I used like a mix of, well, yes, I had a little bit, a tiny little bit of polyester dye, which I mixed up then, like a black, or yeah, it was a black one, a little bit. Then I mixed it up with a normal black fabric dye from like cotton or something, and then I put in some blue normal fabric dye, and it kind of worked out. It probably didn't take the color like super like intense, but that was okay because I didn't want it like super intense. I just wanted it a little bit darker, as it was already a light gray, but it was like too light. Anyways, this, like what you can see here, is from melting the fabric with my iron, and then when I had the whole costume like ready, I did everything that I could imagine to make it look dirty. I threw on paint, like really just normal paint. I threw on fabric paint. I used makeup. I used like everything that I had. I mixed up different colors, so there are spots where I mixed like darker colors, like darker gray, whatever pieces. Then I mixed up some with light, like nearly white, and then I threw it on everywhere where I thought that might be parts where it gets dirty. Like here, for example, this is like more a blue spot. You can also see that I did it at this mannequin. I put it on the mannequin because the mannequin still has the blue underneath here. Yeah, like here, like basically everywhere. Everything that you see here, this is not dirt from wearing it. This is dirt from my weathering job, and I think I did a kind of a good job. Here you can see this is, that wasn't intended. That was like melting the fabric. Oops. Here darker, and then you can see that I also put some lighter spots here to resemble, like, look when you like move your arm and it like gets a little bit like smooched here together. I really like did it like this, like make it like folded, and then put the paint over it. Or I think I also did a little bit of like this is a little bit of more like not really airbrushed, but I have a white like spray can where you can put in paint, and then that's how this white got on here. So it's all different kinds of like grayish, bluish, whitish stains. Here, when sitting down, you pick up some dirt there, everywhere, from Ahsoka doing her best to make a living in the lower levels of Coruscant. Yeah, here again white. Of course, at the bottom here, dirt. Like all around the costume. I think this stripe here is something from the dye when I dyed it. But yeah, I wasn't really concerned when dyeing it because I knew I need to weather it down if I want or not. Like all this stuff. This also, these darker spots then look like kind of oily. Which makes sense when she's like in a shipyard or something. Yeah. So I never weathered a costume like this intense before. Okay, let's continue with the belt. Like, as always, most Star Wars cosplays have an outfit and a belt. And if you watched some of my other Star Wars cosplay showcase videos, then you already know what kind of belts I'm doing. I'm using like a real leather. I'm mostly buying thin leather, and I'm doing like a foam inside. So there is a thin or like a middle thin foam base of the belt, and then I wrap it with real leather. So this is all real leather. Then the buckle that I'm doing is always like a fake buckle. I'm doing it out of Warbler, then painting it like this gold tint here. I wasn't quite sure if it's like gold or more silver, but I think it's kind of more of gold. And I do Velcro at the back. And then you can just pop it on, and there is no like real belt like buckle situation behind it, just very simple. Then it's like this one straight belt around the waist. Oops, no, that's not what I wanted. This here. The one side there then is hanging this loose strap here from underneath the belt, from underneath the buckle. The buckle shape was not that easy to identify for me, and I think now it's also a little bit different, but here we go. This is what I have. One of these, like this side belt situation, comes out of this left side of the like triangular shape here, and it goes all the way to kind of the back. As you can see, I also weathered it down a little bit, like the leather here with a little bit of white and stripes, and some darker parts here, so that the whole costume looks weathered. And then that was something which was not really clear to me what this is. It's like a flap hanging to the right side. And by the way, I've always told this in my videos, the mannequin here that I put my clothes on, my cosplays, is thinner than what I am. That's why the belt doesn't sit right. It actually sits here at the waistline, right where the sew line is. So yeah. So it sits around this here. I couldn't really figure out what this flap was, and then I thought there must be hanging something on. At first I thought maybe it's like a bag or something, or pouches, but then I thought it might be this binocular. So I thought it's something that Ahsoka might use. And what I did with this, actually, again, what I'm doing, I'm not good at like sculpting, or I do not have a source of 3D printing or anything. This is just children's like toy binocular. They painted it, and so it looks kind of rough. You can really look through it. You can put it together and strap it here with these rubber bands, or yeah, just put it on right like this. this is not like authentic. I just, especially like now, maybe you could figure out what it actually is, but especially back then, like half a year ago, when I had no clue and didn't have better pictures, I just thought this might be okay, and I'm still okay with it. And as far as I can remember, it's nothing that really plays a role in the arc, whatever she is hanging there. She also has a crossbody bag with her in the episodes. Sometimes I didn't do that. So it's both nothing that's really playing a role in the episode. So okay with it, that's what I have. Ta-da. And the buckle doesn't sit right in the middle. It sits a little bit off to the side. And then this comes from the side all the way to the back to kind of, yeah, more like the middle here. Yeah. What I always have to do with these extra straps, like on belts and everything, I cannot just do a straight line as I'm doing when the belt sits directly at the waist, which this one is a straight line. Whenever I have something like here surrounding my hips, I have to make it curved. Let me show it to you. Can you see it? So it's not straight, but it directly is a curved piece. Otherwise, it would really weirdly stand like not lay well on my hip, because I am a woman. I have a very round hip, so that's why like something that sits in the waist can be straight. This is straight. Actually, it was straight. And then something like this needs to be curved for my body shape. Otherwise, it would never sit like it does. Okay, let's continue with something really essential for Ahsoka that I have explained to you in my other Ahsoka cosplay showcase video, and I think also in my Ahsoka makeup tutorial. But again, for everyone that's new to my channel, I'm not painting my whole body with body paint. Like, I'm just painting face and neckline, and for everything else that's covered in orange, I'm using tights. So these are the tights for the arms. It's essentially really tights. They are cut here, so I can like get in with my hands, and always the bottom is cut. I just put them over like a top, like, you know, I just get in here, pull this over my head, get the other sleeve in, and as it's tight, they are really tight, and they don't make like any folds here or something. It's barely noticeable. I think this is the best solution. It's a nice orange, and then I'm using the same tights, and I'm making gloves, and I just cut them around my hand, like my fingers, sew them along my finger line really tight, because it's the same tights material, so very stretchy. That's absolutely enough. And then I put artificial fingernails on. These are not in the best shape anymore. I've worn them so often, and of course they wear out a little bit, so they start pilling here. But I think that's a good alternative for really using body paint, especially at your hands. So then put these fingernails on, just glue them on with the super glue, and you can wash them and everything, they don't come off. But just like the inside starts pilling, I definitely need to make some new ones. And whatever you have here, it is covered, because Ahsoka like always has something around her wrists or her like forearms or something, which is the next point. Bum braces. Yes. So Ahsoka, like in most of her costumes as well, here she has like her forearms are covered, or her like underarms are covered with these vem braces. They are, both sides are a little bit different. Whoopsie. As to that, one of the sides also has this communications pack, whatever it is, which is exactly the same as in my other costume. So this is the one I already explained to you in the Ahsoka book cover, or Lost Missions, or Untold Tales, whatever you or I called this version. This is this acrylic material that one of my friends, who has like a laser cutter, his shop is scruffy looking Laser Brain, but he's not really doing cosplay props. He's more into like miniature game accessories, like small plates and stuff for the X-Wing game. And like, I'm not that familiar with it, but he basically has this laser cutter and he cut it out all of these different things, which I then assembled to this communications pack for her arm, which then I glued onto a leather like thing, or a leather piece, which is connected to these leather straps here, which go around. So this is also loose, it comes off, because also I use it for both of these costumes, which is really practical, really good that they didn't change that up, because they changed the complete costume for Ahsoka up from the like unfinished story reel parts that we had to now what's really in season 7. Here you can see it. So this is such a cool piece, and yeah, I think these buttons could be about correct. It's not that easy to identify what button is what and what not, but yeah. So then I have these vem braces, which are the same kind of or type that I'm like doing with my belt. So inside is a Eva foam. This one's a little bit thicker than the belt is. It's a little bit more, like maybe half a centimeter wide, and I cover it up with a very thin leather. If you look inside, you can see it. Inside here, you can see the edges. The inside, it's like a dark Eva foam, and I always cover it up. And they basically consist of like 2 layers. So the big part here with the foam inside, and then on top there's another layer which is just the leather, and it's all real leather. I really like to use real leather. I like how to work with it. It's easy to glue, it's easy to stretch. It's really lovely. I love real leather. That's why I'm using it a lot. So as I said, first layer, let's do it here. First layer, second layer, and then comes the communication pack. And the other one has again first layer with foam inside, then here just leather, which it's not glued on, it's just put on. Here's the seam, you can see it's just pulled over. And then the third layer of this one is like in the same shape as the communications pack, with one like piece here on top, and then these straps around, but this time made out of leather. And for the like texture, which I wanted to be a little bit thicker than just one layer of leather, here is a very thin foam inside. And then I sewed it on. It's also something which could be done a little bit different, but this is how I did it. And you're maybe asking yourselves, like, why isn't there any opening? How do you get into it? There is no opening, because like that's also something that probably just I can do. I cannot recommend this to anyone else, because I have really tiny here wrists, and I also can like make my hand really thin so I can get in everything. That's why I don't need any openings like this. Or maybe it is the other way around. I always confuse which is right and left, especially when looking at the camera or looking in the mirror, then it's again different. So might also be the other way around. And she also has something else. She also has these hand covers, which is the same technique, leather, and the leather covers a EVA foam. Like this. And here you can see that when you move and everything, then you have a part here which shows your skin. But as I did these gloves kind of long here, you see they got way until somewhere here. You don't see any edge of them, so you see orange again. This one, I mean, I made it a little bit too tight. It came off a lot, so that's why I changed it up. And now I have like a snap button here. So this one's easier to get in. Or not really easier, because then you have to close the snap button. But it's not as tight like this. Then you have to close it at this part, which I should have done also with this one, but now it's like one has a snap button, the other one doesn't. Yep. And let me tell you, when I have also the tights on my arms and the gloves, it takes time to get out of them again. It's especially then when you're sweaty and you want to get it out and you can't because it's so tight. So whenever someone would ask me, I would recommend do some kind of openings here. I'm always skipping them because I know I can get inside without them, because like I can, as I said, really make my hands really, like here I can make them really tiny at this part. That's why I can get out without an opening. But please do something like with snap buttons here, or do a maybe do little magnets. That would be an idea. Yeah. The boots I'm wearing are simple dark brown flat boots. You just see like a tiny part, like whatever comes here is not noticeable because you have like long trousers. I didn't buy them for Ahsoka, I bought them for my Numa cosplay, like Numa, Star Wars Rebels, the Twi'lek girl, and they are real leather boots without any zippers. I just needed to extend them here because my calves are not as thin as whatever other people's calves are. That's why I needed to extend them here. But this has nothing to do with the Ahsoka cosplay. You just need some boots up until here, so like ankle boots or something, flat and, in my opinion, dark brown. Then here we've got the like headband, let's call it like this, which covers always like her forehead, goes onto her leg, untold. Here it's not just the same technique as the belts, because here's not just a foam covered with leather. Here is one other layer inside. It's foam. I still use like a very thin EVA foam to get the shape right. How is it sitting? Then I covered this one with Warbler to have it like to give it like a good like stand, to have it sturdy and not as like flexible as a belt would be. Cover with Warbler, and then I cover it with leather. It is, I think, a mixture of leather, because this leather is the leather I used for the belt, and then because it's not just one type, it kind of is very broad here. That's why it's like two different layers here. So this one, which comes really from here, same leather, and underneath I put a darker leather, which then goes up until here. And this is the leather from the vambraces. So use those two different kinds of leathers. I have like two different because I didn't have like the same leather skin twice, so I have two different colors of leather. And it is parted here in the end, wraps around her back leku and closes with a magnet. Something missing? Ahsoka? Yes, her headpiece, obviously. I already showed this headpiece in the other headpiece tutorial, in the other Ahsoka showcase video, because it is the same one as I used for the book cover version or the Untold Tales version, but I think I can show it to you again. Let me take you with me in my bedroom, that I can show you how I store my lekus. So there you can see, this is the headpiece for like the season 7 Ahsoka. Here we've got my headpiece for the Rebels Ahsoka, and there we've got the season 3 to 5 Ahsoka. This is now my newest version how to store them, because I always had them laying around somewhere over a lamp or like over my sewing machine. Sometimes it was over there, but then I found these. Can you see these, like I don't know what you would call them, where these holes are in? They are from IKEA and actually for hanging garments or clothes from your wardrobe. So normally you would like make it somewhere here, make it fasten it somewhere there, and then you could hang like jackets or something. And but they have these huge holes in them where I put these. This is just like something like from where you would like something like this. I don't know what it's called. These round tubes. You could also use like plastic tubes or lightsabers or whatever you could like put through it, and then you can hang your leku / Togruta headpiece with Montrals over it, because it's got these 3 leku and it's very easy to store like this. I just have my Shaak Ti headpiece somewhere else, like it's still over my mannequin in the living room, because it has like super long leku, but with these Ahsoka ones, that's a good way for me. Here it is. The way I do my headpieces, like my Ahsoka headpieces, is it's more of a sewing process than it's not like sculpted directly, but I make a pattern construction. Then I'm using also some kind of foam, but it's not like an Eva foam, but more like a cushion foam, about 1 centimeter wide, and I sew it together so it gets the overall shape and still like empty inside, so you can put it on your head. You stuff this with like fiberfill. Like here you can still see that there is fiberfill, because I never like covered it. You can still get inside here, so it is all squishy, filled up with fiberfill, because the cushion foam is flexible, but not super flexible as if you would make it just out of silicone or something, but it still is flexible and you can bend it and everything. And then the cushion foam is covered with a thin layer of jersey, a white, very stretchy jersey fabric. You sew it then by hand, so sometimes you have to make like some like darts, which are like a little bit noticeable here or here, so that you have you have it really flat laying on the cushion foam. And then I paint it with a mixture of textile paint and liquid latex. My Shaak Ti leku are also additionally then, like especially the long leku parts, painted with a silicone. I have a whole headpiece like tutorial kind of video out on this. You can base like all my Ahsoka headpieces also on this kind of tutorial, but without the silicone. So my Ahsoka headpieces are then completely covered with latex, liquid latex, mixed up always with a little bit of fabric paint because just the latex, it kind of, I don't know, it gets too rubbery. I don't like the texture. It's then too thin to apply it, so that's why I always mix it up. And then I paint it like I do it in white, everything, and then afterwards I paint the blue stripes on it. I know people have told me, yeah, they look good, but for this version they are too long. Might be, because what I've noticed is, like, after, of course, season 3 to 5, then when we get to season 7, of course she has longer leku, but again it's two different ones. So like in this arc they're still a little bit thinner and a little bit shorter, and she doesn't have these like her patterns are still a little bit more geometrical than like in the Siege of Mandalore arc, which then again is like, I don't know, a month or a year, or I don't know what time is then during that time later, and they are longer then. They have more of these shapes that start getting into her like her rebels like stripes are, so a little bit more less geometrical. And with this one, because I did this one for the book cover version, it is kind of a mixture of both, because we didn't like really have clear pictures. I based it more or less on this like 1 second of the trailer that we got for the season 7, which is on the Siege of Mandalore costume version of her leku, and then I like just used it for the other cosplay, and I'm using it for this cosplay, and I will also use it for the Siege of Mandalore version, which I hope to start during the next weeks. I wanted to definitely do it this summer, and of course I wanted to wear it at several conventions and Star Wars Celebration this year, but as we're still in COVID-19 times and no celebration, no conventions are happening, that's why I took it a little bit more easy and haven't started the Siege of Mandalore costume yet, but I will definitely do it. I will also use it for this one, because let me tell you, I know there are people, and that the very best Ahsoka cosplayers have multiple headpieces, like basically 100 different versions, and they are making them all themselves. Yes, I'm making my the headpieces myself, but it's very difficult for me. It is very time consuming and very stressful, and I'm always happy when I've finished one. And I have made now 4 different Togruta headpieces, or more, because the season 3 to 5 headpiece of Ahsoka is already my 3rd version, and I have 2 Twi'lek headpieces, and it's not fun for me. That's why I'm sticking to this one for 3 different Ahsoka versions. For the Untold Tales Ahsoka book cover version, for the season 7 Jumpsuit version, and I will also use it for the season 7 Siege of Mandalore version. Shoot me! That's what I decided. Maybe I will paint some more of these like flowy stripes, which then here there must be like some pointy parts. I will, or I think at the bottom here, I will do that and then stick to that one, because I don't want to have like 3 other headpieces. And as I said, it's really stressful and it's not fun for me. And when they are not really fun, it's fun to have them. It's fun that I was able to do them, to accomplish them, but it's not really fun to make them for me. That's why also I'm not offering commissions on headpieces. Mostly when I'm working. Right now I'm still in sabbatical, but when I'm working I don't have time. And during my free time, I want to make stuff that I have fun with and not that is like stress for me. That's why I'm not offering any commissions. I'm sorry for that. There are people out, maybe I will link them below, which are offering great commissions, people from Europe, people from America, so that everyone who likes like my headpieces can go there and purchase theirs, because they look similar, if not better, than what I'm doing. So the headband has magnets inside, and also the headpiece has 2 magnets. And then I pop that on here. Clack. Let me show you the back, because there you can see. I hope you can see. Can you see? Yes, you can see. Here are the two magnets, and this goes around the back lego. And there are also magnets here at the side and then here. And so that's how it holds up. This part here is also just a warble piece painted in silver, popped on there. Yeah, and somehow that's it already. I think it took kind of a long time to explain everything, all the details at the jumpsuit, and the rest is not that difficult. Belt, braces, forehead, headband, headpiece, but as I said, I didn't make it especially for this costume. I already had it from another one. Boots. Yeah, that's the Ahsoka Season 7 jumpsuit version. I hope you liked it. I already have a makeup tutorial in this cosplay. I will again insert some photos and some like material, like where I'm like walking, or if you can see me in motion in this costume. And if you like this video and if you want me to make more of my Ahsoka cosplay showcase videos, like I have more Ahsoka cosplays. I have the Rebels version. From Rebels I also did the like Ahsoka the White from the epilogue of the last Rebels episode. I also have the season like 3 to 5 normal Ahsoka, which is not my best. It's kind of an old costume, so I don't know if I want to show that to you, but I could. So just tell me in the comments below if you want to see more of my Ahsoka cosplays, or if you want to see any of my other Star Wars costumes. Please tell me which one are you more interested to see details. Maybe I do that as one of my next cosplay showcase videos. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching. See you real soon, and may the force be with you. Bye!